Hello and welcome to another edition of Blue Six Tarot. I'm your fantastic host Blue Six. Thank you very much for watching. Now yes, once again it has been a very hot minute since I last did a video, but I came across this beautiful deck earlier in the month. Why not going to Salem, Massachusetts for a convention? That was loads of fun. Some of you who follow my other social medias will be fully aware of this. And I picked up this deck because I have been looking into like my heritage and kind of like my ancestry, and what I found has been quite interesting. So I've been finding black African style decks and stuff like that kind of more drawn to. I've been quite drawn to those because it's a thing in my mind. It's a thing I'm looking into, and therefore I came across this deck and I thought the artwork was beautiful and I wanted to share it with you. I thought this feels like quite an important deck compared to some of the others. I mean, some of the others do feel quite important in their own way, but this one has a kind of similar feeling to the Neo Tarot I did a review on, but it feels a little bit more personal in that regard. But yeah, as I said, I thought I'd share it with you guys. So as we always like to say, let's roll on to the intro. So first we're going to take a look at the box itself. It's quite a large box, quite a large bulky one, and we are looking at 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters by 6.75 inches or 17 centimeters. So we've got the lovely lady on the back here, on the back of the lady on the front here. It's quite, as I said, it's quite bulky. You've got the label here, magnetic seal, which is always quite fun. Nice little bits in the back here. You've got flowers, and on the back you've kind of got like the brief demonstration and explanations to the cards. Nice little taster there. So you pause to read. And it's just a quick question, just a quick bit. The box is 2.5 inches or 6.5 centimeters. And so we open it up where we've got the book, and there's a little cardboard box for the cards themselves. Once again, we've got flowers in the back, same lady on the front, and it's a good substantial book. So on this one, nice little bit here. Then you've kind of got like a brief story of the cards, of the making of the cards. Now I don't tend to look through the books, but because it's quite a thick book and it's a very kind of strong theme, as it were, I thought it was a good idea to give it a look. So it goes through them, and it has some really interesting spreads, one of which I will be doing a video on because it was quite an interesting thing. But it gives you other ways to use the same number of cards for spreads. So you've got this little thing here. Different ways to do a 3-card spread. Quite interesting, quite good. So the box itself, slightly different on the front than the book or the box, and you've got the moon phases on the sides here, and you've got the different minors here. So you've got bowls, wands. You've got the coins are shells, and knives and spears. So let's take a look at the deck itself. First, we're going to take a look at the back of the cards, and I think these are really cool. You've got various different shades of brown and various different types of pattern. I do like the blue flower at the bottom there, and so it has a very strong African sort of look to it, but without being region specific. The other thing I quite like is the fact that you can tell if it's upside down, because my brain being the way it is, I don't really like doing inverted readings, inverted cards, and so I just like knowing which way around this is. So we'll take a look at the majors. First we'll start off with the Fool. I like the fact that he's got angel wings, and so pretty much all of the majors have the moon phases, which I think is really cool, and the fact he's kind of walking on water. That's kind of like the start of the journey, and the fact that he's just wearing shorts is quite good in the fact that he's starting off his journey with very little, and he'll be having more things as he progresses. So next we take a look at the Empress, and I think the Empress looks amazing. I think she looks fantastic. I usually would have the High Priestess, but the High Priestess is very similar in her poses and stuff, but the Empress has stood out to me more. Once again, I like the kind of dark, I like the kind of browny red here, and just the shades of yellow and green, and just the hair. This is just really cool, really strong. And what I like is the fact that it also has that strong feeling. This looks like it would be the High Priestess as well, which is what I love. But the fact is, just there's so much just positivity, and there's a lot of strength in this, and I really like that. So next we have Justice. So I picked this one out because I like the fact that for the scales to be balanced, they're being held up by people, and I think that's really cool. And one thing you'll notice throughout this deck is all the people are different shades as well, so not just one shade of brown. You've got light, you've got dark, you've got mid, and so that one's pretty cool. But I also like the fact, so you've got the sword in the middle with the scales, and just the fact that it's being held up, I like that. So next we have the Devil, because of course we do. I think the Devil looks really cool in this. Just the robe, I like the necklace, and then I like the fact that it's a deer's head, or an animal with antlers, rather than it being horns. That's pretty cool. And I didn't notice this until yesterday, but on the side here you've got a signpost for all the deadly sins, and I think that's really cool. Now this is something I would have as an art piece. And finally we take a look at Judgment. So once again you've got the 3 different shades here, which I think is really good. The background colouring I think is quite interesting, because all the majors have different background colours, whilst the minors all have the same. But the choice of colour in a lot of this is really good, and I like the mist to highlight the fact that they're clouds. In the book it does go through what each of these mean, as to the meaning of the flowers, the meaning of the water, etc. But I do really like the mist effect, and I like the fact that the angel still got like horns, but like a wooden horn. Can't quite see it there. It looks like a wood, or maybe animal bone horn, something like that. And you've got the people coming from the bottom, not necessarily coming out of graves, but yeah, I think that's really cool. I really like that. So now we'll just take a quick look at I'll remember what they're called in a minute. We'll take a quick look at the aces. So for the Ace of Wands, we have 2 antelope by a tree, and that also looks like the branches are also antelopes. I think that's kind of cool. Something quite simple. Yeah, but you'll be able to pick up quite a bit. I think you'll be able to pick up quite a bit of meaning from this. So next we have the Ace of Baskets, which is the cups in this regard, and it's a guy giving another guy like just like putting flowers in his beard, which I think is quite nice. I like the suit as well. But yeah, I like that just has like a nice, warm, friendly feeling to it. So we take a look at the Ace of Knives, which I feel is quite a strong image in that regard. A woman carrying a knife in a city, with a crow or raven above. So that has a very different feel to like the standard Ace of Swords. So this has a kind of feeling of basically just needing protection and being aware of your area, and making sure that you need to be prepared for certain things. So this feels more like a card to tell you about being prepared. And last we take a look at the Ace of Coins. So in this one the coins are shells. I believe in the Mermaid Tarot from many years ago, the shells were chalices and cups. So, but yeah, for this one they're coins. But this one's quite nice. Something quite simple, kind of like this basic background. Something else that you'd probably think that would be water-based rather than earth, but I think it's pretty cool. Still quite a nice artwork there. And so now we'll take on a look at some of the other minors. We take a look at the Nine of Wands. This one I think is amazing. So first of all, you've got once again different shades of brown in this, and they're all standing up, giving the power fist. There's the protest fist, and I think that's really, really cool. And they're all united under one banner. I mean, that's how I depict this. Although there is a fun little story with this that I'll be doing in another video that I'll be doing soon. I used these as of recording yesterday, and this card came up as a very important facet. So, but we'll go through that on the next video. Trust me, the next video will be like in the next week or so. So next we take a look at the 10 of baskets, and so there is no rainbow, but you've got your nice baskets on the top, and it's still a nice family setting. It's still people together gathering. There's a little child there. Oh, two children, sorry, there. But yeah, it's just the fact that these are. This feels a lot warmer. This is probably more of a personal bias, but this feels a lot warmer than like the standard with just like two parents and two kids and their dog looking at a house. This feels a lot warmer. There's a lot more comfort in this, you know. Then we take a look at the Five of Knives. Now this I think is really cool because you still got the conflict between two sides. Obviously in this regard the two sides are two individuals, but then you've also got a person in the back on the throne and onlookers. So this feels to me more like their combat is contrived or kind of encouraged, or at least has the feeling where these two people are there to fight for their sides, and it's just between these two, and everyone else is and what the outcome of this combat is deciding for everyone else. So I think that one's quite an interesting card. And last we take a look at the Three of Coins. So once again, this one is a more simple one in the regards where it is an artist working on a piece of art, a painting, rather than the Rider-Waite-Smith being a stonemason. But there looks like they're working a picture on, I would assume, is a relative, because obviously as this deck has a very kind of family focused kind of feel to it and culturally focused, I don't think it would be too far to say that this is like their mother or their grandmother, but I still think that one's quite nice, quite simple, and you've still got the three shells there as part of the indication of the coins. So now we'll take a quick look at the court cards. So these court cards, instead of being king, queens, etc., this is done as a family unit. So the page is the Sun. So in this one we're looking at the Son of Wands, and a bit more dramatic and a bit more fraught with risk than the traditional. This is a guy just like swimming with two crocodiles being observed by some people in what I'm assuming is an aquarium, with a camera phone on a selfie stick. So that's pretty cool. And also I like the fact that this deck is modern as well. Unlike the Cat People Tarot, which is still a very good deck, whilst they are kind of steeped in traditionalism, this one is just modern people doing their stuff. So next we'll take a look at the Daughter of Knives, and she seems to be staring into what looks like a forest. And not only she's got her knife aloft here, but she has a sword there, but she's got two knives behind her as well, and a very long gown. So she is dressed to kill, dressed for combat. And once again, in my upcoming video, this card comes up as well, and it's quite prominent, quite amusing. But yeah, this one has a very strong force, very strong feeling of not just pushing against a system, but also rallying as well. So it's not just, so she doesn't feel like she's just doing it for herself, she's doing it feels like she's doing it for more people. Now, that feels like it's me adding my own context, but once again, considering some of the other cards and the theme of the rest of the deck, it does feel like it's not just about individualism, but it's about everyone. And next we take a look at the Father of Coins. Now, it took me a while to realise that this is a table. This is a table, it's not a man in a really long skirt, no, this is just a table with some shells on the table there, and some other people here, so that's either business partners or family members who run a business. Could be like a family, this person could be representative of a family run business, and of course this, and if it is so, therefore it's not just a patriarchal system, it's a family thing, because you've got a woman up there, so it's not necessarily just men. So this does have that good feeling of inclusion, not just the concept of male dominated or female dominated, because a lot of cards do tend to lean one way or the other when it comes to gender representation, and I feel that this one, personally for me at least, I feel that this has like a fair balance. If you do wind up picking this deck up yourself, you may not feel that way yourself, but that's the feeling I get. And last, you have the Mother of Buckets. So in this regard, she's qualified as the, so this would be the king, and the others would be their other suits. So it is highlighting the fact that this is more, I guess, leans towards matriarchal, but at the same time, as I said, being inclusive and having a fair mix. Whether anyone's gender neutral or not is, I would say, up to debate and up to individual interpretation, but in this one you've got the Queen, and she's obviously out shopping. She's supporting their child on her back there, with various different things to purchase and to pick up. Or she's a merchant, and she's showing the things that are available. But what I like about this deck, this is, I wouldn't necessarily say this is a deck for beginners. There are a lot of cards that kind of are so different from their traditional that sometimes you might not be able to do a direct parallel. But I think this card's really cool, really interesting, and just the variety of colours. The fact she's quite dark brown, wearing just white, and there's a lot of other colours in there. This is very eye-catching. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. As I said, hopefully next week I'll have another video up to talk about how I use this deck for one of the spreads in the book. Once again, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.